Well, hello, friends, neighbors. John, your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome down to the Nook, and welcome to 3 days of Advent. Today, I'm going to open up day 8, 9, and 10 from Sons of Vancouver. It'll still just be a tasting. I don't know what's in there, and when I open them, I don't even know what I'm really reading about, but I can tell you what I'm tasting across these 3 bottles from this Advent calendar. So join me with cool if you had some from Sons of Vancouver. We're going to do 3 days today. 3, 4. Thanks for coming back after the break. This will be a little longer. I've been trying to keep them like a minute too. This will be a little bit longer just because of the number of days. But thankfully it's Saturday, so we can start. So under day 8, I would have pulled out a wheated rye whiskey. Wheated rye whiskey. So, it's 50%. I have to say again, I love the strength they put stuff out, but I don't know what this means to be a wheated rye whiskey. I know in, the States where a lot of ryes are less, like 51% or whatever, there's always other components, usually corn, some barley. So I'm going to imagine wheated rye, I don't know, but it could be, there's some wheat in the mash bill, or it's aged separately, rye and wheat whiskey blended after, or something else. Let's try wheated rye on the nose. Oh, that's nice. It could be a mental image, but it's sweet. It's. I was gonna say chewy. That's not it. Let me get there. Yeah, but it's somehow like it's not as spiky on the nose. It's nice and sweet, a little bit floral. A little bit of husk in there, a little green. All right, let's try it on the palate. Cheers. That's nice. It still has pepper and spice and um, nutmeg, but no, not nutmeg. Actually, it's got a little bit of cola in there in the aftertaste, but there is definitely another quality. Now, what that's coming from, casks that held wheat, I have no idea. But there is a little bit, I think in the nose, I said a little bit of nut husk, and for me, it's that little bit of grainy, nutty, oatmeal kind of vibe going through. Nice, quite different than the 100% rye, which was more traditional rye. All right, let's see what day 9 would have given us. I'm imagining that it would be a liqueur since we just did a whiskey, but we'll see. No, rum barrel single malt whiskey. Okay, so we've really been in rye territory, 54.5%. Single malt. I will say we have been in rye territory kind of until now. Lots of ryes. But this is rum barrel, single malt, still very bold, right? We're 54.5%. So rum barrel. That's different. That is definitely darker. I'm actually getting more cooked sugars, more brown sugar, more like a caramel understanding. But what I'm saying is that darker, deeper palate. I just had some 1920, and it's smelling a bit like a bourbon. I know it's a single malt. Don't beat me up for that. I understand. I'm just saying it's dark, it's cooked, but it's sweet. Maltiness is there, but I think it's going to come out more on the palate when I give it a taste. So let's try it. Rum barrel single malt. Cheers. My head nod was, there's the malt, but I'm getting a lot of spice on this. Far more than I'd expect. It's got to be young. Maybe I'm getting some wood tannin, some wood spice. Feels like new oak. I know it says rum barrel. I'm imagining finished in rum barrel because the tannins and the oak structure that I'm getting really, to me, feel like a virgin oak casking. Reminds me a bit of like some American single malts in that, you got that new oak and that full malt, but you got that young oak spiciness. Now there in the far finish, maybe I'm getting more of the sugars I'd expect from a rum. Rum finishes, to me, can be hit and miss. Sometimes they're really sweet because I'm not a big rum fan, but this is done well in the sense that it's definitely not overpowered. Another quick sip. I would like to spend a lot more time with that 54.5 rum barrel single malt whiskey. And if it's spent its whole life in rum, and actually more rum is coming out now, in the finish, like in what I'm left with, but up front, it really felt like a pretty young single malt, but in some aggressive oak. Okay, today is Advent Day 10 as we count down to Christmas with this Sons of Vancouver calendar. And since I've just hit 2 whiskeys, a wheated rye, a rum barrel single malt, I'm imagining this has to be a liqueur. Oh, barrel aged Sazerac, 50%. Okay, this is going to be very interesting. Sazerac is one of my favorite cocktails. I do have some absinthe. I actually have, the bottle that I have is still from Okanagan Springs out of BC, which is interesting. So it's actually a favorite cocktail of mine. But this, when you say it's a cocktail, 50%, boy, I tell you, you guys know how to ensure there's enough kick in your liquid. So this, of course, is our first, not liqueur, I would say, but is a cocktail. And it's barrel aged. So I imagine they've mixed it all up and they've thrown it back into a barrel of some kind. See how it is. Wow. Yeah, it's got, for me, it's like a black ball licorice candy, those hard ones, or anise, Oh, but it smells sweet and inviting. There's still a little bit of oak in there. Like, okay, with my palate, I don't want to overemphasize, but for me, that ouzo black ball licorice is coming my way. Cheers. I normally struggle with liqueurs a little bit, I'll confess, or even cocktails. But this is lovely. It immediately coated in like a thick corn syrup, not the flavors of corn, but I mean that, that thicker syrup. It's got that nice absinthe note going on for sure. Green Fairy is talking to me. This is a really nice cocktail. Now, if you're a single malt person or like a whiskey person and you don't do a lot of cocktails, please don't take this. Clearly, I like this reaction and you've got to go try it because I review whiskey and this is so good. This is very much a Sazerac, and I actually really like that when I'm going for that. But it's got all kinds of flavors that you're not getting in whiskey. It just adds lots of different layers. But it's coating, it's rich, still spicy, thick. Wow, I'm surprised. So, I'm gonna take a quick palate clear, and I'll sit back through these 3 to give you my kind of final first thoughts on 3 days of Advent from Sons of Vancouver. So coming back, let's go all the way back to this wheated rye. I don't know what that means. There I got some gingerbread cookie. Definitely rye forward in the palate, but there's something else going on in there. Like I said, gingerbread, now it's actually kind of like an oatmeal cookie. This is richer. Of the 3, certainly for a whiskey, it's the richest. I'm still getting lots of dark fruit and sugars and oaks on the nose. Yeah, that is classic Stranahan's and like American virgin oak. For me, the rum barrel, even if it's aged entirely in rum, really doesn't come until the finish, and then I get all these sugars. Otherwise, it tastes like a young single malt, spicy, and lots of oak. The last was this Sazerac. So much licorice. and it's actually quite sweet. Definitely reminds me of those little hard black ball licorice candies, but it's nice for a change. It would be far too sweet. Like even now, I won't have another sip of that for a while. It's quite sweet, but I love the flavors. Thanks for joining me. Sorry, I just missed a few days there. That's probably going to happen. It's not a struggle at all to enjoy and taste and talk whiskey. It's a struggle to find the time to do that and then to get it out and share it with you guys. So my apologies, but I'm going to try to get back into every day, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully you guys are getting your places and spaces or houses or condos or whatever you live in ready for some holiday time. And I hope you do get a few days to just relax, friends, family, yourself, whatever it is. I hope you get some rest time during the dark part of winter, at least up here in North America. Thanks for joining me. Hope you guys have a good week. Take care.